twist his important thing.
You will twist his important thing. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Parting!
Hey guys, HuShang here. Today we're going to be covering Parting's revolutionary new Protoss vs Terran strategy called the Adept Twister. This has been one of the most requested strategies in my comments and Discord recently, and it's not surprising why. This build might have completely revolutionized the way we think about the Protoss vs Terran matchup. This build begins with a brand new Nexus before gas opening that appears to be significantly better than our current build orders, and allows Parting to bank an additional chrono boost and increase mineral income to hit an incredibly early 5 to 6 Adept attack. If you're interested in the specifics of this opening, HuShang recently did a fantastic breakdown of the benefits and how it could contribute to earlier Protoss timings in the future. And let me tell you a little bit about my own experience with the build as well. After watching Katowice, I tried freestyling this build on ladder versus some pretty high Grandmaster Terrans, and these games were super one-sided. Most of the time I shaded in the first 6 Adepts and just dealt game-ending damage immediately. But it gets better. See, the thing is, I checked these freestyle replays, and I was actually hitting almost 20 seconds later than Parting. So that's when I realized how broken this build order is, and I had to do a guide on it. So here it is. After an hour of training, we tightened up the build, and I managed to get the warpins at 317 with 6 Adepts in total. So hopefully you enjoy this guide, Parting's Adept Twister. Alright, so here we are in a replay against the AI. I've done this build to perfection, and we're going to take a look at it on normal speed so you guys can follow along. Make sure to go check out the spawning tool build order list. I know you guys are always asking me, where's the build order? Some of you are writing huge build order lists in the in the comments, so make sure you go there. Pylon's on 14 like normal. And we're actually going to have a, well, it might not be a deviation if you're used to doing a pylon by your Nexus, but if you're used to making a wall on the cliff, then this might be a little new to you. We're going to go for a 15 gate, not a 16 gate. It's actually really important for hitting the timing. So make sure you do that on 15. And then after that, you're not going to take your gas. So Parting's come up with this pretty exciting new build, and you're going to go for a Nexus before your gas. And what this is going to do is give you a little bit more mineral income, and this is going to be really important for hitting this timing. So once you reach 16 saturation, you're going to change your rally point to the second base, and you're just going to let that rally out. It is like really slightly too late, so if you want to pull a probe earlier, you can definitely do that. But I don't think it makes a difference to the timing of the build. It's just going to delay your probes like a quarter second or something. So make your Nexus here, and then you're going to send that probe to where you want to proxy. Now, I'm going to pause here because this is really tight. So what you need to do is make sure that this probe can get here by the time we need to build a pylon on 19, which we're going to get to in a second. But it has to build that pylon really on point. So make sure it's not too far away. Like for example, you can't build the proxy here, I don't think, or over here. It's just going to be too far for the probe to make it there in time. So send that out, and then you're going to grab your gas immediately after that. Actually, let me rewind. That's important. So Nexus, you'll see on the minimap, the Nexus starts right now. And then this next probe is being rallied to the gas. Okay. So Nexus starts, then we get our gas also on 18. And then you're going to get your Cyber Core on 18 as well. So there is a small probe cut here. Just keep that in mind. And after the Cyber Core starts, you can just put this guy temporarily on the Gas Geyser. You could, I suppose, micro it on these long mineral patches, but I would not recommend that with this build because you're going to have a bunch of tasks to do in just a second. So just leave them on the gas, and then you can start queuing up probes again. Okay, and this is the really important part. Well, there's a lot of important parts of this build to make it sharp, but this is one of them. You need to get this pylon exactly on 19 at 100 minerals. And if you delay this, your warping's going to be delayed. So grab this pylon. We're going to grab a gateway on here as soon as that's finished. Back at home, you can see another very important part of this build. I don't know why, but everything in Parting's builds are like, they have to be so sharp. So you need to pull 2 guys off and put them immediately on the gas when this gas finishes. If you try to rally them in, you're not going to have enough gas for the warp gate and the adept, so it's not going to work. So make sure you grab 2 and put them on here right away, and then you can rally back to the mineral line. Okay, once you do that, you're going to come back to this pylon. It's going to be about finished, and you're going to grab your gateway as soon as it's done. Like, as soon as it's done. Because again, if this is late, the whole build is late. It's actually absurd. So you grab this gateway. This is your second gateway. And then we come back to our nexus here. You can see that I'm still queuing up probes. You should be able to afford constant probes this whole build. And you can rally these probes to your natural base. Alright? You don't want to take another gas. We are going to want gas later, but if you get the gas too early, then it kind of messes up continuous probe production. You don't quite have enough money for the build and the probes. Unless you cut the gas, which we're going to do. Okay, next thing is we're going to grab something when the Cyber finishes. And I say something specifically to make sure you guys are paying attention. You're going to get Warp Gate before you get an Adept, which is normally not what you would do. But you need to get the Warp Gate right away if you want to hit like 317, 318 is the fastest I got. So you might be thinking of getting the Adept first and chronoing that, but you don't want to do that. You want to go Warp Gate, and then you can get the Adept later, and it's still going to be in time for the Reaper. It's not a problem. So Warp Gate right away, Chrono Boost it right away, keep making probes, and then you're going to get the Adept and Chrono that as well. So you can see here it starts at like 206, which is definitely enough time to get that out before the Reaper. And then you can rally this if you want. I think I rally this in this game. And you're going to grab your next gateway, your third gateway, on 25 supply. This one doesn't have to be that sharp, honestly. One of the few things in this build that doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and then you're going to Chrono Boost again. These Chrono Boosts don't have to be super tight either, so don't worry too much about getting those perfect. But you do need to finish 3 Chrono Boosts in total. Alright, after the first Adept, you're going to start up this next Adept. This guy's fairly important as well. And you're going to start up a third Adept on this gateway. Actually, I want to say one thing. Parting did get a Stalker as this unit off this gateway in the main if his opponent was playing Reaper. Actually, I think he got it every game I watched on Katowice. But I think an Adept is stronger here if your opponent opens up with a Marine. And so Parting didn't do this. I guess this is my addition, but I think it's a lot stronger because you're gonna have 6 Adepts total if you make this Adept, and 3 Adepts, like 2 groups of 3 Adepts, is really significant. And the reason it's significant is because it takes 3 Adepts to one-shot either a Marine or a SCV. So by getting this last Adept, you have 2 groups of 3, and you can kill SCVs and Marines twice as fast, basically. It does take a little bit of micro, which I'll probably show later, but I think this is really important. So if you're facing Reaper, maybe go Stalker, and if you're facing Marine first, go Adept. Alright. So then we're going to start up this Adept on this gateway. This is going to always be an Adept. And we're going to do one last Chrono Boost on the Cyber right here. Okay, so now we have all the units. We can keep making probes. And I think it's easier if you throw it on a pylon about here before you do the warp in, so that you don't have to do it later. So you can do that pretty soon. there's a little bit of leeway at this part of the build. And when this adept pops out, you want to shade across right away. So these adepts are going to shade across. This adept is going to, I think I made a small mistake in this replay. This adept is supposed to come over here, so you can kind of group up. I think it ends up walking like all the way around, like a complete idiot.
Don't walk through the shot. What an idiot. What an idiot.
But bring that guy over here. And when your warp gate finishes, if you've done all these steps correctly, and there were quite a few, so it's not very forgiving, you can get a warp in at 318, which is insane to me. You can get a warp in at 318, 6 adepts. I mean, like for example, just to give you guys perspective, Terran doesn't get their first tank until almost 4 minutes. So you're coming in here with 6 adepts before they have a tank. Maybe have like 8 marines or something really small like that. So you can just completely destroy everything they have, and they can't mine from their natural. So it's just an absolutely disgusting build. And once you do the first warp in, if I go back just a second, this is important. After you do this warp in, you can transition. So you warp this in, and then you can come back home. You can make a pylon. You can make your 2 gases, and you can get your Twilight Council, is the way that partying transitions. So 2 more gases, fill them up right away when they're done, and a Twilight Council. And then other than that, that's pretty much it. Just keep in mind, I guess, that you need to be making at least 1 pylon every time you do a warp in. So if you only want to do this 1 warp in, then you probably only need like 1 more pylon. But if you want to keep warping in, then obviously you need to keep making pylons. All right, awesome. So that's it for this tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really excited to play this build after mastering it in some custom games. So I'm gonna go do that right now, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.